Braxcast time once again. This is the 16th episode of the podcast, and this is the first one I'm recording after having gotten Yaira. So I've got all the covers here. I'm going to show them off. We've got cover A and B. This one's done by the great Canon Mike, cover A. This one, cover B, is done by Will Conrad, who also did the Dokumon cards, which I will be going over very soon. So that's A and B. And we've got cover C by the great Graham Nolan. My light's kind of shining, but this is a really nice foil cover. Looks really nice. Of course, we got the board on there, so you can't see the back. But we've got cover D, which I showed in my Yaira review. This is what I used to show off Yaira when I did the Yaira #1 review, which you can check out on YouTube or Substack, wherever you're watching. Wherever you're watching that I uploaded the Yaira review, so hopefully you can check that out. And I also did a written review on the Substack, so you can check that out as well. This is what the back cover looks like. It's very nice. Of course, I mentioned this on the site, but there's a space between bargain, so you can see bargain and 4. There's supposed to be a space there, but there isn't. That's a formatting error that's been fixed for the second printing, but the first printing of cover D will have that error, so it makes it a little bit more collectible. Of course, this is a really nice airbrushed cover of Yaira that Mark, I think it was Mark Evans is the name of this artist. He also did a cover for Alpha Core #1, which was fantastic as well. But we're going to get right into this. The Yaira campaign has wrapped up. It's been wrapped up for a good bit now. And part of wrapping that up or finalizing that was announcing the winners for the fan art contest. So there's 4 winners. We're going to go over them now, with the first one being Jason Burlow. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. But he won first place for this great black and white art. I mean, this could be a cover for Yaira #1. You got Magus Numa, you got all these skulls, you got Yaira in the center here in her costume, looking fantastic. This is a great piece of art. Definitely deserved to win. I mean, a lot of these pieces of art deserve to win, but this one looks fantastic. Looks absolutely great. If they had this as a cover, I would have absolutely loved this. But this was a piece of fan art. Of course, you got Magus Numa, who has a pretty big role in Yaira #1. I don't want to get into spoilers just yet, but is a fantastic piece of art. And again, this could have been a cover in a hell. If they made like a creator's edition for Yaira #1 and use this as a cover, that would be absolutely fantastic. But we're going to go into the second place winner, Kevin Sharp, with this fantastic piece of art. Of course, you got Yaira manipulating icicles here. This is a black and white piece. It looks absolutely fantastic. Again, I've talked about how much I love Yaira's costume, especially like her I don't know, there's like loincloth and these tights going on. It looks fantastic. It's a very, I think, a striking design. It's very simple and simplistic as well. So there's not too many wasted lines with the Iris costume. I absolutely love it. And Kevin Sharp did great justice to it, and that's why he got second place in the Ira fan art contest. And now we've got number 3. So this is a colored piece by Brett Barkley. Of course, you got Yaira standing in her costume, and again, like I said, this lower area, this like loincloth thing she's got going on, I absolutely love it. And of course, she's got the ice motif because she's got ice powers. That's her. That's where her powers. Her powers originate from her being able to be cold, so she can generate ice. That's her main shtick. And of course, it's very much on display here. It's beautifully colored as well. You got the light blue and the darker blue create this really nice contrast for the viewer. It's a fantastic piece of art. Brett did a great job. And of course, you got our hair blowing here. You've got all of this in the background. It gives it a lot of momentum, makes it feel like it's a dynamic piece instead of just a true still. And of course, you've got some little details of ice here as well. So this is a great piece. Won first place as well. And we're going on to the last piece of fan art. I believe I showed this one on an earlier episode of the Braxcast. This one's done by Jason Krager. This is what won 4th place. And this is a fantastic piece of artwork. She's got this, she's got the trench coat on. She's being photographed. It's like this paparazzi thing. Of course, you got the city background. So there's a lot of character in this one piece of artwork, and I absolutely do love it. It does make you feel like a lived-in universe where she's just popping out and like people are seeing her, right? So I absolutely do love this piece of artwork. think is absolutely fantastic, and it definitely deserved. I know it could have won first place, but it was definitely a great fourth place winner. But when you look at something like this and you compare it to this, I definitely think this is like the better piece of art. Like this is like this could have been like a cover, man. Like I swear, like it's a fantastic piece of artwork. But this is none of these are bad, and of course there's a lot more on the Rippaverse site, so you can look through all the fan art. This was the third fan art contest. The first two were for Isom number 1 and 2. Alpha Core didn't have a fan art contest, but I figured I'd go over the winners, congratulate them all, and hopefully we see more work from them and other artists as the Rippaverse keeps doing these contests. I love these fan art contests. I just love seeing fan art in general. It just shows how great of a community we are, fans of the Rippaverse. But we are going to the questions of the day. We've got two that I want to go over, and we're going over the less exciting one first, which is what supporting character would you like to read more about? And of course, I would love to read more about Brax. Well, I was going over the gilded threads on the Rippaverse threads in the Rippaverse or the Young Rippa Discord. And a lot of people want, or there's people who say like Braxwell should get his own solo book, and a lot of people are saying like, oh, this character should get his own book or her own book. I think some people get a bit too haphazard or a bit too eager in terms of saying like everyone needs their own ongoing series, and I definitely don't think that needs to be the case. So something like Braxwell, you could have him have his own story in a Ripazine, like as you know, a 13 to 20 page short story in a Ripazine. There's also the idea of doing a compilation, like a short story comic compilation. That's 96 pages, but it has like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 20-page stories or so. Yeah, probably like 5 20-page stories. And those are short stories, and they can feature someone like a Braxwell, or I think like an Altona and a Vasi Selman would be a fantastic place to go. You could have this is a bit spoilers for Yaira number 1, but there's some characters that appear in Yaira number 1. There are definitely supporting characters that would be very interesting um, to to go on about. So something like a Magus Newmite or Yantoni and Yanessa would actually be fantastic to read more about. So yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of supporting characters in the Rippaverse, and I think doing something like a short story compilation where you take like may have 5 20-page stories, put them all in a book. That would be a fantastic thing to do. And again, it would be nice to read about like Altona or Yanessa, Yantoni. There's God, God. I think like, is this like a supporting character? Like, I don't think Gooding is a supporting character. He's getting his own book. Of course, we're going to read more about him. But I mean, there's the Shadow Wolves that Bloodroof has. There's Cedric Gaucho. I want to read more about. Of course, everyone wants to read more about Larry Shungai, who appears in Isom number 2 as well. Lincoln Usibusia, I think, might, I don't know, is he your main character or supporting character? So there's a lot of interesting ones. So there's a lot of supporting characters. So like I said, a doing 5 20-page stories of various supporting characters, and I definitely think Altona would be a great one. I would say Altona would be my definitive answer to this, along with Braxwell. Having 5 20-page short stories, putting them all in a book and selling them, and of course, you have something cooler than the Rippaverse supporting characters short story compilation. You come up with some creative title and sell that. I would be all over that, and I think a lot of fans would agree with me as well in terms of being all over that. But we're going over the more exciting one. I saw this one a while ago, but I didn't want to answer it until I had read Yaira number 1. So what are your predictions for Isom number 3? So Isom number 3 is a big book. I've talked about this a lot as this being big for the Rippaverse, that after the Ill-Advised arc gets wrapped up by Isom number 3, that's when the next narrative event of the Rippaverse happens, or the next narrative stage, and then that could lead into having our first event for the Rippaverse, like the big event, other than like the whole damn thing launching, right? So I definitely think, and this is something the Saska sisters mentioned. So in the beginning of Isom number 1, you have, oh yeah, have you seen the chick with the red hair? She could do some things to me. So there's this redhead woman that gets mentioned. I'm pretty sure she's an accept. I think that character will show up in Isom number 3, or I'll like her to. I'll say that's my prediction for Isom number 3. And then, of course, I've talked about this plenty of times before. This guy and we now know that he's the leader of a group of people called Devlings. So you've got the Devling King. This is what I'm calling him until we get another name for him. And let's see if I can show him off without the reflections of my camera light here. But I definitely think that he's going to be showing up. Of course, there's going to be a big showdown with Isom and Darren Fontano, of course. And I definitely think that we'll probably have some we'll have some things that happened in Yaira #1 will show up in Isom #3. They'll be mentioned. That's a prediction of mine as well. Of course, we have Sam Wilford, who's been saved by Bloodruth. Here, this happened at the end of Isom #2, and we now know that because he was captured by the Devlings, he's got some power. So that's going to be developed. Now, whether or not that means Sam Wilford's going to go like rogue and become an evil character, I don't know, but that's going to be a big plot point of Isom #3 is the fallout from Sam's kidnapping. How that's going to affect him. Is he going to become like a really powerful Accept right away? Is he going to have to develop it? Is he just going to straight up die afterwards? I don't think so, considering, and this is a bit of spoilers, he has a Dokuman card. So I definitely think there's a arc that Rippa and the team have planned for him that's more than him dying in Isom #3. So it's going to be exciting to see that. So those are my big predictions for Isom #3 is that we're going to see the Devlin King. We're going to see that redhead that gets mentioned right at the beginning of Isom #1, and Sam Wilford's fallout with being kidnapped by the Devlings is going to be a big part of Isom #3, along with this big showdown that's going to happen between Isom and Darren Fontano, because we go at the end of Isom #1, and you have, let's see here. Oh yeah, I mean we might get Norfolk showing up, but I'm not sure how big of a thing that's going to be, considering there's just so much stuff, and considering it's going to, I mean it is going to be 127 pages, right? And I'm actually getting ahead of myself here. It's yeah, right here. So you see, you've got Mick Davies here, who also, again, spoilers for the Dokuman cards. Mick Davies has a Dokuman card, so he's definitely going to be involved in the Rippaverse quite a bit. And I knew that from the concept art book, that he's going to be he is the chief of police of Forest Park. So whenever, we have all these story events that involve crimes, of course, you're going to have the chief of police be involved in that. But he's seeing this basically like hit call, or you've got Darren Fontano putting a hit out on Isom, giving information, about Isom or Avery Solomon, and Mick Davies is looking at it. So I definitely think this is what's going to be a relevant thing, is that Mick Davies is going to have a role in the showdown between Darren Fontano and Isom. Now, is he going to be on Isom's side or Darren's side? I'd say more likely on Isom's side, considering that Darren is a hardcore criminal, all the stuff he does with Club Merc. Of course, with Jasmine, the implication is that she's being used as a prostitute. Lady of the Night is the more formal term for that, but that's the implication. So he's doing a lot of very criminal stuff, very shady. So I imagine McDavid is going to want to take him down. But those are my big predictions, right, for Isom #3. The fallout with Sam Wilford getting abducted by the Devlings. This conflict between Darren and Isom getting resolved, and McDavies getting involved in that. The redhead from Isom #1 appearing. And then, of course, there's some stuff that happened in Yaira #1 that will probably be addressed in Isom #3. Like, it'll be mentioned, not like super built on, but it will be mentioned, as like, oh, this is why, or why are things like this, or why is Forest Park different than when I left, is something that Isom's going to say in Isom #3. So that's what I imagine is going to happen in Isom #3. Those are my predictions. Am I right? We'll just have to wait and see. It's a very exciting book, and like I said, Isom #3 is going to be an absolute big one for the Rippaverse. So I'm really excited to sink my teeth into that book. 127 pages, it's ridiculous. And of course, Eric has definitely honed his writing skills since Isom #1. And the fact that you're deeper into the plot and you don't have to launch an entire comic book universe with the book that you're writing is going to help him out as well. So he's definitely in a better position. So this is tying up these loose ends that were established in 1 and 2. And then number 3 is going to put that nice bow on it. It's going to set up the next big narrative push for the Rippaverse. So this next arc that we're going to focus on is going to be set up by Ill-Advised Part 3. That's my big prediction as well. And it's also just, I think there's going to be a big shift in the Rippaverse after Isom number 3 comes out. That's going to build on the shift that's happening with Yaira number 1 coming out, with them moving away from the campaign format so they can release books more quickly, and also getting into the toy and statue market more, and just doing all these really cool things for the fans as well. So that's really my big thing with Isom number 3. It's not only about what's going to happen in the book itself. It's also about what the company itself is going to be doing after Isom number 3, and it's all really exciting. And if you're as excited about the Rippaverse as me, keep up with the Braxcast. I will be covering everything. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and Joker is out. Thank you for tuning in to the Braxcast. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to keep up with the Rippaverse.